Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Alyssa. I make lifestyle and motherhood videos here on this channel. So I am so glad that you've joined me today. If you're not new here, thank you so much for coming back as always. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. So I figured, since if you've been following me for a while, then you know that if you saw one of my last couple videos, we've been doing some fertility treatment. We've been trying to get pregnant with our second child. And since pregnancy is on my mind so much lately, we don't know if we're pregnant yet, but we did do the treatment this month. And so we find out if we're pregnant pretty soon. And so in the meantime, I've been thinking a lot about the possibility of being pregnant again, which is so exciting. And all that to say, because it's been on my mind, I thought that I would do a video about baby names because I have been thinking a lot about baby names. So if you didn't know, I have one daughter now. Her name is Annabella. Annabella Joy is her name. Hicks is our last name. And she is 2.5. And Annabella is a name that I absolutely am just obsessed with for many reasons. Actually, I'll give you a little bit of a backstory of her name. So I have always loved, ever since I was little, the name Bella. I just love the name Bella. I think it's just the cutest name, whether it's a nickname or a real name, I just love it. There's just something wonderful about it. And the fact that it means beautiful in Italian, and I have Italian in me, it just makes it all the more amazing. So, by the way, my guide dog is under me because if you didn't know, I'm blind and she's snoring. So I'm sorry for the snoring you might hear in the background of this video. Okay, anyways, back to Annabella. So I loved the name Bella for a lot of years. And basically what happened was when I started dating my husband pretty seriously, and I was like, oh, I could actually have children in the next couple of years. I was like, well, I could use the name Bella. And then I thought, everyone's naming their dogs and their cats Bella, and Bella was the main character in Twilight around that time, or shortly after that. And nothing wrong with Twilight, but it's just, Bella is just a very common name now. I feel like it never used to be, but just in the last, I don't know, maybe 10 years, it's become very common, mostly for animals, unfortunately. And so because of that, I thought, well, I can't really name her Bella, as her full name, because I want to give her the option when she's older, so that she's not always made fun of or maybe thought of as a dog or a cat, that she could, maybe come up with, she could have another name to fall back on. So I was like, well, I don't want to do Bella just as her full name, but I still want Bella to be a part of her name. So I remember just thinking about what I want her name to be. And I've heard of Isabella before, and I was like, well, Isabella's nice, but I kind of wanted it to start with an A, like me. And so I actually, when I was in college, shortly after Richard and I started dating, I met a girl. She was brand new to our campus at the time, and her name was Annabella. And I thought, that is perfect. Oh my goodness. So ever since then, Richard and I had only been dating for a few months. And ever since then, our first daughter was named. And I told him, I said, I love you, but you have no say. Her name is Annabella Joy. And of course, he graciously agreed. He was fine with it. So hence why her name is Annabella. It means full of grace and beauty, which I absolutely love that meaning. And we call her Bella because I love the name Bella. Okay, all that to say, you guys, that was not the point of the video, but that was a long intro for me to tell you why I named my daughter how I did. Now, I'm gonna share with you 10 baby names that I love, but I won't be using. The reason I'm not using them, I'll share a little bit when I talk about each name, but we already have our boy name and our girl name picked out for our next child, whether it is a boy or girl, they're already named. So we're not gonna share that now because we're not even pregnant. Anyway, so let's get into 10 names that I love, absolutely love, but that I won't be using for one reason or another. So we're gonna start with boy names, just because. So we're gonna do 5 boy names and 5 girl names. Gabby is really snoring, I'm sorry guys. Okay, so the first boy name on my list that I love but will not be using is Elijah. This is a wonderful name, it's a biblical name. It means Yahweh is God, and I just love it. I think it's great, but I think the reason we're not gonna use it is just because it's kind of really common now. It's pretty common now, and it wasn't my husband's favorite, which is totally fine. It's not really my favorite either, even though we love it, we just decided not to use it, but we absolutely adore the meaning, and we think it's a really strong, awesome name. Okay, the next boy name that I love but will not be using is the name Leonardo. Now, this one is a little bit different than a biblical name like Elijah, but I like Leonardo because it's sort of an Italian name, just like my daughter Annabella. Her name's sort of Italian as well. And so I thought Leonardo would go really, really well with her name. And then I would call him Leo for short, which Leo is adorable in my opinion. I think it's perfect little nickname there. And so I just think Bella and Leo, it would just be so cute, okay? So I love it, but I don't mean to throw my husband under the bus. He knows and he's okay with it, but he does not like this name at all. And that's okay, because my husband and I, even though he let me name Annabella, if he absolutely did not like the name, I wouldn't have done it. So we do make sure that each person at least likes the name before we use it. So he does not like Leonardo. That's okay. It does mean like a lion. And if you haven't noticed, meanings are really important to us. So that's another reason why, or that's one of the reasons why I think he doesn't like it, because he was just like, that's an okay meaning, but I don't really want to name my child Lion. No offense to someone whose name is that, because I think it's a wonderful name, but that's why we're not going to use it. Okay, the next name on our boy list is the name Seth. I love this name. It's also from the Bible, and it's just such a strong name. It means chosen one. And I think that's so amazing. And I've always loved this name, but I think the reason we're not going to use it is just because it's just one syllable. And to me, I don't know. I love the name, but I just don't think it goes with Annabella is such a long, beautiful name. And then all of a sudden Seth, I don't know. It's just one syllable. So I'm not going to use it probably for that reason. I do like it though, a lot. And I think Richard likes it too, but that's why we decided that we're not going to go with it. Okay. The fourth boy name on our list is kind of a very unique one that I've only heard once, but I love it. It's the name Theophilus. And that is from the Bible, and it means loved by the Lord, which, interestingly enough, if you didn't know, we miscarried our very first baby before Bella, and we thought it maybe was a boy. We're not really sure, but we named him Jedediah, which means loved by the Lord. So it's like the same meaning, which would be really cool. So Theophilus, and then you can call him Theo, which I think is adorable, or even Teddy, which is also adorable. But yeah, we're not going to go with it just because it is, I don't know, I don't actually know why we're not going to go with this, but when we talked about it, we're both just like, oh, we like it, but we're just not going to do it right now. Okay, number 5 for boy names, the last one on my boy list that we love but will not be using, is the name Ezra. I love this name. Like, this is probably the name that I would fight for if my husband, if we weren't using the name that we picked. I love Ezra. It means helper. It's from the Bible as well. And I just love it. And I would definitely use it, like I said. But my husband has picked another name and I like it even more. It's a great name for if we have a boy. So we're not going to be using Ezra, at least not yet. I don't know what the Lord has in store. I don't know how many more kids we'll have, but we're not going to use Ezra right now. But we love the name Ezra. At least I do. I really do. Okay, so now on to our 5 girl names that I love but will not be using. Okay, the first one is the name Hannah. Oh my goodness, you guys, this name is my absolute favorite. Okay, so story behind this one is that my parents were actually going to name me Hannah. It was between Alyssa and Hannah when they had me. And I think my mom was voting for Hannah and my dad won and he voted for Alyssa, which that's fine. But growing up, I always was really sad that my name was not Hannah. And I actually hated my name because it wasn't Hannah. And I was like, ew, Alyssa, that's so ugly. And like growing up, I always wished I was Hannah. And I just didn't like my name because of that. So that was kind of the backstory there. And then so when I was very, very young, I told my mom, my first baby girl is going to be named Hannah. And it was literally, that was what it was going to be. And even up until like right before I met my husband, I was like, if I have a girl, no matter what, her name's going to be Hannah. My husband can deal with it. And I didn't know anyone, wasn't dating anyone at that point. And then I met my husband, and I met my husband's wonderful sister who has 6 children, okay, who are now my nieces and nephews. And one of those lovely little girls, her name is Hannah. So right away I thought, well, there goes that. But you know what? That's okay. The Lord knew, and the Lord knows that I'm not going to have a Hannah, and that wasn't his will for me. And that's okay, because my beautiful niece, her name is Hannah, and she is just amazing and wonderful, and I wouldn't trade being her auntie for the world. So Hannah is no longer on our list of names that we're going to use. Okay, the second name for a girl that I love is the name Addison. This is one that I found recently, and I just think it sounds so great. And you can call her Addie for short, which I think is really cute. By the way, I forgot to share the meaning for Hannah. I do love meanings, and it means devoted to God for Hannah, just so you guys know. It's just wonderful. But the name Addison, the meaning wasn't as great for me. The meaning is son of Adam, and that's the only one I could find. And what I also found about Addison is that it's a gender neutral name, so boys and girls have the name Addison, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, But for me specifically, I personally liked my daughter, to have a name that's like unmistakably feminine. Just, I don't know, that's just my preference. Nothing wrong with gender neutral names at all. But so anyway, Addison is wonderful, but because it's gender neutral and because the meaning is not that significant, we decided not to go with Addison, even though I really like it. Okay, number 3 for girl names, you guys. I'm actually really, really sad about this one. Like, I'm a little heartbroken about this one because I really, really, really love it. It's my favorite girl name, you know, besides Annabella of all. Okay, so this name is Amelia. I love this name, and I really, really want to use it if we have another girl, because I just think it goes so great with Annabella and Amelia. And you could call her Mia, so it'd be really cute because we have Bella and Mia. I don't know, it's just so cute, and it's like sounds Italian, which I like, and it is adorable. And I should fight harder, but you guys, the struggle's real, and my husband might be mad for saying this. I love you, babe, I really do. He actually went as far as to boycott the name Amelia. I don't know why, you guys. I don't think he has a reason. He just said, I'm sorry, babe, I boycott that name. So I'm like, okay, well, that's definitely off the table. Like, I can't use Amelia, which makes me sad because I think it's such a lovely name. Again, if your name's Amelia, don't be offended by my husband. He wasn't trying to offend you. He just doesn't want his daughter to be Amelia. I think it is the most precious name in the entire world. I love it. And I think, I still want to use it, but I respect my husband, and that's okay, and we don't agree, and that's okay. So we're not going to use it. The other thing about it is that the meaning is not that great either. Like, we couldn't really find any other meanings for it other than industrious, and I'm like, okay, I mean, I don't know if that's that significant for a meaning, and that's important to us. So that's another reason why we sadly are not going to be using the name Amelia. Oh, okay. Okay, number 4 for girl names is the name Bethany. I've always loved the name Bethany. I had a really, really good friend in middle school named Bethany, and I really, really loved her, and it was a special friendship that we had, and so ever since then, I'm like, I just love the name Bethany, and every time I meet one, I'm like, oh, I love that name, and so I just love it. But again, I don't think it goes with Annabella. I don't think it just doesn't feel right to use for no reason other than it just doesn't feel right to use, and Richard agrees with me there. We're kind of in agreement there, even though I really, really love the name Bethany. But the meaning also is just a city in the Bible that Jesus went to a lot, so there's really not a meaning to the name Bethany other than a location. So I thought, well, that's okay, but it's not a meaning that we really want for our daughter. So that's why we're not going to use Bethany, but I do really like that one too. Okay, the last girl name on my list that I love and I won't be using is the name Madeleine. Such a beautiful name. Again, like, I had a really special friend in high school named Madeleine, and for short she was Maddie, and I still to this day adore her and talk to her every now and then, and I just love the name Madeleine. It's just so beautiful and elegant and just perfect. But again, there's no, like, the meaning that we could find was just someone who grew up in the city of Magdala. So like, like maybe Mary Magdalene, Madeline, I don't know, kind of like that. I think another name that I saw was illustrious, and I was like, ooh. So the meanings are not that, like, meaning is really important to us. Like, for Annabella's name, the meaning is just so perfect and beautiful, and we just want the name to have some sort of, like, deep meaning or, like, I don't know, good meaning. So for Madeleine, the meaning just wasn't significant enough for us, and also, we just weren't in agreement with that one either. So that's why we didn't choose Madeleine, but I would use it. I really like it, and I think it's a great name. Okay, you guys, that is it for my 10 baby names I love but will not be using. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up because that helps my channel out so very much. And if you like these kinds of videos, again, lifestyle videos, motherhood videos, I do some vlogs, I do cooking videos here, and just a bunch of other things. If you like this kind of content, please go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to have you here in our wonderful community. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope that this video was fun to watch and just kind of get a little bit of knowledge into the baby names that I love. And again, I have names for my future children already picked out and hope one day to share those with you. We're praying that that time will be soon, but we will see. The Lord's will be done. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in our next video. Bye.